Hi, boys and girls. We're here today to read together Hottest, Coldest, Highest, Deepest by Stephen Jenkins. This is an expository text story this week, which means we're going to get a lot of information about real places in the world. We're going to look for numbers and diagrams that help us understand the facts. So we're going to look at graphic sources to help us understand a little bit more about what we're reading. And we're also going to think about what makes nature's record holders unique. So what makes all these places special or one of a kind? Okay. If you could visit any spot on Earth, where would you go? What if you wanted to see some of the most amazing natural wonders in the world? There are deserts that haven't seen rain for hundreds of years and jungles where it pours almost every day. There are places so cold that even in the summer it's below freezing, and spots where it's often hot enough to cook an egg on the ground. Can you imagine? There are mountains many miles high and ocean trenches that are even deeper than the highest mountain. You can find rivers thousands of miles long and waterfalls thousands of feet high. Where are the very hottest and coldest, windiest and snowiest, highest and deepest places on Earth? Travel the world and visit the planet's record holders. Okay, so our first record holder is the Nile. The Nile River in Africa is the longest river in the world. It is 4,145 miles long. So if you look at the bottom of the diagram at the bottom is of the globe, and that red dot shows me where in Africa the Nile River can be found. The Amazon River in South America is not as long as the Nile at 4,007 miles, but it is considered mightier because it carries half of all the river water in the world. The Zhangjiang in Asia at 3,964 miles, and the Mississippi, Missouri in the United States at 3,710 miles are the world's third and fourth longest rivers. So we have one of those record holders right in the United States. Okay, let's look at the diagram at the top with the U.S. It says 2,750 miles wide. Why do you think the author included that diagram there? Okay, well, I think he's trying to help us understand just how long these rivers really are by comparing them to something we're familiar with, which would be the size of where we live. Lake Pakal in Russia is the world's oldest and deepest lake. Now, the author bolded those two words, oldest and deepest, as a way to let me know that I'm reading something really important. The lake was formed about 25 million years ago. Now, that would be old. In one spot, it is 5,134 feet deep. Now, if I compare the depth of this this lake to the length of the Nile River, it's even deeper than the Nile River is long. That's how deep this lake is. The largest freshwater lake in the world is Lake Superior, one of the Great Lakes in North America. Hey, we know that lake, don't we? 31,700 square miles, but Lake Pakal at 5,500 square miles contains more water than any other lake on Earth, more than all the 5 Great Lakes combined. So the size of Lake Pakal is not as big as Lake Superior, but it's way deeper. It holds more water than all 5 Great Lakes put together. Okay, and you can see on the map where you would find Lake Pakal. There's Russia. And then the other diagram is of the Empire State Building at 1,250 feet. That's a building in New York. That's how tall it is. It's a pretty tall building. But look at how much deeper Lake Pakal is than the Empire State Building. Now, I think that is a comparison for us to actually understand how deep this lake is. So we have the deepest lake. What's the highest mountain? Do you know? Well, Mount Everest is the highest mountain in the world. Its peak, or the top of it, is 29,028 feet above sea level, and above sea level means above water. Mount Everest is considered the highest mountain above sea level in the world, but it's not really the tallest. Well, how can that be? Measured from its base on the floor of the ocean, Mauna Kea in Hawaii is 33,476 feet tall. So Mauna Kea is taller, so it's at 30,000 feet. Mount Everest is at 29,000 feet. But because most of Mauna Kea is underwater, we can only see 13,796 feet of Mauna Kea. So it's the tallest mountain, but we can only see a very small part of it because most of it is underwater, because it starts right on the ocean floor instead of on the ground where we can see like Mount Everest. The hottest spot on the planet is, okay, now excuse me boys and girls, I might say this wrong, Ala Azaya, Libya in the Sahara, where a temperature of over 136 degrees Fahrenheit has been recorded. That's pretty hot. That must be the place they were talking about where you could cook an egg outside. The hottest temperature ever recorded in the United States is 134.6 degrees Fahrenheit in Death Valley, California. So you can see where this desert is in Africa, down at the bottom on our globe map. And then we have another graphic source which compares temperatures of water freezing, room temperature, body temperature, and then the temperatures of these two deserts. So we know where the hottest place is. The coldest place on Earth is... Okay, the coldest place on the planet is Vaisak, Antarctica. A temperature of 129 degrees Fahrenheit below zero was recorded there. So look at where we find Vaisak, Antarctica, right at the bottom of the world there. It is so cold at the South Pole that the average summer temperature is negative or minus 58 degrees Fahrenheit. So we don't even get above zero in Antarctica. The coldest temperature ever recorded in the United States is negative 80 degrees Fahrenheit at Prospect Creek Camp, Alaska. So we've got the hottest, the coldest. Where's the wettest place on Earth? Well, that would be in Titinundo, Colombia, where an average of 463 inches of rain falls every year. So I want you to think about an inch, how big an inch is. Okay, if you have a ruler, maybe you can get it out and look. So think about how big an inch is, and now think in your mind 463 of those. That is how much rain Vaisak, or not Vaisak, but Titinundo, Colombia gets in a year. That's a lot of water. Okay, Mount Wolele on the island of Kauai in Hawaii has the most rainy days with 350 a year, so it rains almost every day there. On the island of La Reunion in the Indian Ocean, more than 61 inches of rain fell in a single day. So think about that inch again. 61 of those inches would be how much rain fell in a day there. That is a lot of rain. I don't know if I could live in a place that's so rainy. The driest, so we've talked about the wettest place. What's the driest place on Earth? Well, the driest place is the Atacama Desert in Chile, where no rain has fallen for the last 400 years. Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine that. Any place that receives less than 10 inches of precipitation, and we know that precipitation is rain, sleet, snow, a year is considered a desert. So if a place gets less than 10 inches of any kind of precipitation, it's considered a desert. The driest place in the United States is Death Valley, California, where only about 1.5 inches of rainfall every year. So in 1 year, we only get Death Valley only gets about 1.5 inches of rain. And you can see in the diagram the comparison to an adult man at 72 inches, which is 6 feet, how much water that actually is. So look at 1.5 inches of Death Valley average annual precipitation. That's not very much when you compare it to an adult human. The windiest spot on Earth is atop Mount Washington in New Hampshire. A wind speed of 231 miles per hour has been recorded there. Now I'm thinking back to a time this summer where we had a pretty bad storm where it got so windy that I lost a couple of trees, my trampoline blew over. It was pretty windy, and it was maybe 50 miles an hour. 231 miles an hour would be really damaging. It is also very windy near the tops of the world's highest mountains, the Himalayas. Many of these peaks, or the tops, are tall enough to reach the jet stream, a narrow, strong air current that is found above 28,000 feet. That's pretty tall. The world's highest waterfall is Angel Falls in Venezuela. It is 3,212 feet high. So let's look at that diagram. Look at Angel Falls. And now they're comparing it to the Empire State Building at 1,250 feet, and also Niagara Falls, which are found in New York, and Victoria Falls. That's a really tall waterfall. Angel Falls is more than 17 times higher than Niagara Falls at 180 feet in New York State. Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe, Africa, carries more water than any other waterfall. It is 355 feet high. So it's not the tallest, Victoria Falls, but it does carry the most water. The deepest spot in the ocean is the Marianas Trench in the Philippines. It is 36,202 feet deep. So in the very beginning of our story, it talked about some of the deepest oceans are deeper than the tallest mountains. That's so true. Mount Everest is 29,000 feet high. Look at how deep this trench is in the ocean, 36,000 feet deep. The average depth of the world's oceans is about 3 miles or 16,000 feet. The lowest spot on dry land is the shore of the Dead Sea, 1,100 feet below sea level. So on average, our oceans are about 16,000 feet deep, and the Marianas Trench, 36,202 feet deep. That's pretty deep. I don't know if anybody can even go that low. The world's most active volcano in Sungay in Ecuador. Since 1937, it has erupted once every 24 hours on average. So about once a day, this volcano will erupt. It once erupted more than 400 times in a single day. Other very active volcanoes include Colima in Mexico. It has erupted regularly since 1560. Aso in Japan, erupting since 533, and Mount Etna in Italy, erupting regularly since 1500 BC. So, have volcanic eruptions existed throughout modern times? Well, yeah, we still have volcanoes that have been erupting for thousands of years. The most extreme tides occur in the Bay of Fundy in Nova Scotia, Canada. Okay, so the tide comes in, so water will come in higher during certain times of the day and then go out. If you've ever been to the beach during high tide, the water will come in a little bit closer to shore. I know one time I built a sandcastle with my kids and it got washed away during high tide. Well, these tides in Nova Scotia, Canada, there the water level rises and falls more than 50 feet every 6 hours. So we're talking like 50 feet of water coming in every 6 hours. The tide here comes in so fast that it can overtake a person trying to outrun it. And you can see on the map where Nova Scotia, Canada is with that red dot. The snowiest place on Earth is Mount Rainier in Washington State. One year, more than 1,200 inches of snow fell there. So if you look at the diagram, we've got your typical snowfall in New York City is about 3 feet. So that would come up to about the waist of a person. Look at how much snow. 100 feet. Mount Rainier recorded 1 year of snowfall. So that 100 feet of snow, that's a lot of snow. Mount Rainier is covered in snow the whole year, so there isn't a time of the year where it's not snowy on Mount Rainier. Some of the snow has formed glaciers, masses of ice that slowly move down the mountain under their own weight. Okay, boys and girls, that concludes our story for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new, and I'm really hoping that some of the visuals that we were given, the extra graphic sources, helped us understand really how deep and high some of these places are. Which place would you want to visit or take a vacation to? Which one would you want to live in? Okay, these are your questions that you're going to be answering today in the discussion board. All right, boys and girls, have a great day.